computer is picking up a strange signal. Here, sir, you better take a look at it.
Hello listeners, and welcome to episode 53 of Life Through a Prism with your host Rob Tierney. And in this episode we're going to have a look at the book that is based on The Wicked the Musical. But before that, just a little bit of background for those that may not be aware. Wicked is fan fiction. It has no connection to the 1939 MGM musical Wizard of Oz or the original canon. The book based on Wicked had its 25th anniversary, but the book is far from what it is in the musical and on Broadway. It didn't take long for book talker Asia Lynn to understand that Wicked the book by Gregory Maguire would be nothing like the musical she had first seen months earlier. It was the first page, Lynn tells Today.com, recalling a scene in which Dorothy and her companions discuss a rumour that Elphaba, the Wicked Witch of the West, is intersex. I was like, wait, hold on, this was not in the musical at all. Content creator Sarah Rubio, who grew up listening to Wicked in a musical theatre-loving family, experienced a visceral shock while reading the book this year. The book ended up being a lot darker than I thought. I would say within the first 10 to 20% my jaw was on the floor multiple times. I wasn't expecting it to be so graphic, she says. The musical Wicked is based on the novel by Gregory Maguire. With the first part of Wicked debuting in theatres November 22nd and the second and final part coming in 2025, TikTokers like Lynn and Ribeiro are discovering the novel and sharing their experiences, from a surprise to admiration in real time. Why didn't anyone warn me? Lynn asks in a TikTok, echoing many other fans. Maguire's Wicked, The Life and Times of the Wicked Witch of the West, a revisionist take on L. Frank Baum's The Wonderful Wizard of Oz, originally published in 1995, and was followed by multiple other books to make a series. Wicked the Musical made its Broadway debut in 2003. The book and musical could be distilled to the same plot summary. Behold the unexpected backstory of Elphaba, the Wicked Witch of the West, and Glinda the Good. But the ways the book and musical conveys its themes, like injustice, identity and friendship, is what distinguishes the two. They're both about a young woman named Elphaba, but very different. The best way I can explain is like when your parents would hide vegetables in your food and you wouldn't notice it. That's kind of what they did with the musical, Meredith Ammons, a content creator, tells Today.com. Whereas the musical hides its political message, Ammons says the book is less subtle. She continues, it's like reading a children's Bible for the first time versus reading the actual Bible for the first time, and how differently the tones are. The plight of animals, conscious animals, takes centre stage in the book, as does Elphaba's activism. Not so much a side character, the wizard is a rather full-fledged dictatorial force committing massacres on the hinterlands of Oz and amassing power, while political allegory is the B-plot to Wicked the Musical, which centres on Glinda and Elphaba's friendship. It's the main storyline of Maguire's book. Maguire's Wicked doesn't contain hallmarks from the musical like a popular-esque union between Glinda and Elphaba, but it takes detours the musical never would have space for. Long explanations of religious sects, descriptions of terrain never mentioned in the musical, and well, quite a bit of R-rated content. For example, Elphaba bites off a midwife's finger as a newborn. Her parents are involved in what is essentially a loving throuple with a quadling man named Turtle Heart. Firio is a child groom married off at 7, plus there is an inclusion of sexual assault, bestiality, murder, racism and politics. Trigger warning for everything, if you can think of it, it's in here. Irene Kiefer, whose multi-part read-along of Wicked has amassed millions of views on TikTok, said in a video. Asia Lynn and Erin Kiefer. Kiefer's series goes into all the graphic scenes she wasn't expecting, like the Clock of the Time Dragon's puppet show, or the Philosophy Club scenes, which have become shorthand for the book's surprising sexual detours. Among Wicked fans, the book's content is divisive. Kiefer, on her hand, said that the sexual content muddles the plot. Ribeiro says she loves the shock value in the books. that the unexpected parts were her favourite to read, but ultimately took away from what she considered the point of the book. I think I was so distracted by all the weird stuff that was going on that the political aspect of it was overshadowed, she says. Meanwhile, TikToker Annalise Broom worries the focus on salacious takes attention from the book's more powerful parts about the rise of authoritarianism, which she sees as a mirror to the news. In the book of The Wizard of Oz is a despot who ostracises and marginalises entire class of Ozians, not to mention animals. I saw a video that was like, the book explicitly describes Elphaba's pubic hair, and I was like, not really? The book just said it was purple and then moved on, she says. To me, the stuff people are focusing on is completely missing the message. The message needs to be talked about more than the shocking parts, which to me weren't that shocking. Granted, I also read a lot of romance novels. In the book, she sees a more substantial offering than the musical, calling the former a great dinner and the latter cotton candy. Broom is among the readers who want a more faithful adaptation of Maguire's Wicked than another retelling of the more saccharine musical. I think people want fluff, and we don't need more fluff, she says. Maguire, on his end, seems at peace with the adaptation. During a 2020 interview pegged to the book's anniversary, he said that the musical's composer Stephen Schwartz presented his vision during a walk in Connecticut, and that he felt they were aligned, that Schwartz understood his book and the moral universe it set in. I came home, I said to myself, I'm going to let this happen. I don't care about the money. This is far more in line with why I wrote the book than the movie scripts I've read so far, he told Broadway World. Maguire said he was very happy with the way Schwartz and book writer Winnie Holzman told the story. It made efficient economic and narrative sense for them to make the story choices that they chose to do, and I applauded completely. The play is a little less subtle than the novel in some ways, and I wanted the novel to be more ambiguous because that's the nature of how I was trying to tell my story, he said. What TikTokers genuinely agree on, though, is that Wicked the book is certainly not as kid-friendly as Wicked the musical. Creators like TikToker Sal Curry are remarking on their experiences reading the books as kids and giving a heads up to parents who might be persuaded by the newly rebranded cover, which has the cover of the musical movie. My main thing is it's not for kids. It's really, truly not for children. The musical is completely fine for kids. I would not say the book is at all, KieferTellsToday.com. Well, there you go, listeners. Were you going to give a child the book for a Christmas present or a birthday present? Does this change your view of the movie Wicked? Or are you glad that the movie is being made as it is? I would love to hear from you. Let's have a conversation. Until next time, take care and bye for now.